Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to a Behind the Arc breaking news update. This is the first breaking news update that we have done, and the reason we're coming to you with this update is because of the trade that I'm sure most of y'all have seen already. That it went down late last night with Clint Capela and Robert Covington being moved to new homes, as well as several other assets that we will get into. This trade's a pretty big deal, so it's, I mean, there are several very interesting caveats to this trade that we're going to have to get into because it leaves some holes on certain teams and fills some holes on others, and it'll just be interesting to see how this trade breaks apart. So what did you think of Houston's haul in this trade to start with?
Well, so in this trade, Houston received Robert Covington, Jordan Bell, and the Golden State Warriors 2024 pick. Yeah, second round. And they also, they gave up Clint Capela, Nene, Joel Green, and their first round pick for this year. So I think the Rockets are kind of going all in here. I mean, Clint Capela, he's been a really good player for them, like in terms of rebounding, offensive rebounding, pick and rolls and stuff. But as of recent, with his injury, Clint Capela had like a little injury. They've been playing Daniel House at center, and it's honestly been working. So,
PJ Tucker.
Yeah, PJ Tucker as well. I think they've been switching around. So I think they found it best to find another 3-and-D player, and Robert Covington, who he's one of the best in the game at that. While they do lose their center, I mean, there have been reports that they are trying to find a new center. I mean, obviously they need a center because once they play against Anthony Davis or something, like, they're screwed. So
Yeah, and me personally, I found it very interesting last night when after this trade came out, Tim McMahon came out and said that the Rockets, while they are going to be looking to add a center, which obviously they desperately need to add a center at this point because the only centers they have on their roster are Tyson Chandler and Isaiah Hartenstein. And 37-year-old Tyson Chandler and Isaiah Hartenstein are not quality players at this point to the level that they should be playing in playoff series against guys like Anthony Davis or Dwight Howard or Rudy Gobert or Kristaps Porzingis or Nikola Jokic, etc., etc. Every other team that is going to make the playoffs that's probably a threat to the Rockets in the West has at least one or two big men who are capable defenders and capable offensive players. I mean, guys who are over 6'10", 6'11". And if the Rockets plan to, as they've said, continue to run PJ Tucker at center for like the rest of the year, and that they're only really looking for a bench center, that could cause them a lot of issues in the playoffs because as good of an interior defender as PJ Tucker is, and I don't want to take anything away from that because he's a very quality interior defender. He's 6'5". He can't guard Anthony Davis
or Nikola Jokic.
Or Nikola Jokic or Rudy
Nikola
Gobert
Jokic would
or
be
Dwight
such
Howard
a problem.
It's going to be a big, big problem. Jokic loves to body people and shoot a lefty hook or a righty hook. He's got that move in the bag, and that's one of his favorite moves to use against smaller guys, and you just can't guard it. I mean, if you don't have the size, there's just nothing you can do. So it's just going to be free buckets for Jokic, and with the quality of passer that he is, there's no way they're beating Denver. I just can't see it. They have to make a move for a guy like Aaron Baines or
They just need a quality center.
I mean, Aaron Baines is, I think, the guy they need to chase at this point.
I think that's why they acquired this Golden State second-round pick, so they can entice some teams. Because in 2024, I mean, the Warriors, I don't think they'll be that as good.
But the thing that I don't get is they traded their first. I mean, I know it's going to be in the 20s, but they gave up a first-round pick.
They
and Capela.
Yeah, that was strange.
For Robert Covington.
Basically. And Jordan Bell.
And a second round. But like, Jordan Bell isn't, all respect to him, but he's not a playoff caliber player.
Yeah. Well, we will see.
He's just not an offensive. He's just not an
We have seen crazier things with the Rockets. I mean, they turned Ben McLemore into a god, so
Well, yes, but Ben McLemore can play his role, whereas Jordan Bell, I mean, he's what, 6'8"? He's not big.
He's pretty
either.
small, yeah. What do they need? I mean, Tyson Chandler's still there, but he seems washed to me.
They desperately need a center.
Yeah, and then they have Isaiah Hartenstein, who, while he's played, he's been okay, but he's Isaiah Hartenstein.
He's more of a stretch big. He's really not a very good defensive player.
Yeah.
He can shoot, but that's probably his best talent. And as a 7-footer, I mean, he's just not. He's gonna get played off the floor in the playoffs easily.
Yeah. Do you want to look at potential centers, or like, do you have any ideas for potential centers for the Rockets?
I mean, well, like I said, I think Aaron Baines is an option.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think, in all honesty, I think Aaron Baines is the guy they should chase, 100%. I would be surprised if they don't chase him because Baines is only making 5.4.
What if the Rockets pull a deal for like a Montrezl Harrell?
I would be very surprised. I don't think they have the assets.
Oh, they definitely have the assets. It's just maybe like the matching of
Who are the assets?
Well, they just recently got
Robert Covington.
Yeah. And while he does have the restricted trade thing, like, you can't trade him after like a certain amount of months. I'm pretty sure you can just trade him straight up and it'll be fine. I think you can trade him for one guy and picks. I'm pretty sure that's the rule. I'm not sure though. I was also thinking Dwayne Dedmon possibly, but he's making around $13 million this season, so
I think it's Dedmon is definitely a possible player that could be involved in the trade.
Yeah,
it would not surprise me. I think they have to get a center. If they don't get a center, they're in big trouble. I'm
very surprised the Rockets did not get Alex Len.
They will be watching. I'm certain they will be watching the buyout market as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised they did not get Alex Len. Rockets.
I don't know. I guess
they could have maybe stolen him.
They probably could have gotten him. You're right.
Yeah. But oh well.
Moving on though to Atlanta's additions in the trade. The addition of Clint Capela and Nene. Clint Capela obviously makes them better, but
Nene is just a fill-in player probably. He's just
yeah, and the thing for me is when Atlanta trades away their first-round pick. And I mean, they didn't trade away much more. It was pretty much just their first-round pick, Evan Turner, and
Evan Turner, their first, and the Golden State Warriors second-round pick that went to the Rockets.
Right. Okay. So they traded the 2024 second-round pick from Golden State, the first-round pick from their first-round pick, and then Evan Turner's contract for Clint Capela, basically, because Nene is just a filler player. So that trade, while Capela obviously upgrades their center position and gives Trae Young more help, does that make them a playoff team? I highly doubt it.
The Hawks?
Yeah.
No, not yet. They're while Clint Capela, John Collins, and Trae Young is a great trio, I believe they don't have the necessary depth yet in order to. Also, they don't have the record to, make us, a playoff run, or make the playoffs. In other words.
And I'd say they they obviously have young guys like DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish and Kevin Huerter and even Trae Young and John Collins, and these guys will continue to improve and continue to get better over the next few years. But if I'm Atlanta, while I do want to get Trae Young some help because I don't want to risk potentially having him get frustrated in Atlanta and want out because they're so bad, making a trade like this kind of, you lose a couple of future assets with your first round pick and a future second,
but this is literally nothing. I'm sorry, but Clint Capela is such a great player. He can roll hard into the rim or to the rim. He can rebound, from both ends. He's also very athletic and mobile.
True.
This is such a steal. I mean, Evan Turner. Dude's been trash this whole season.
Yeah, but they traded picks.
That Brooklyn pick is probably going to be around 15, 16. So while you could maybe get a steal around that range, I mean, you're not going to get someone better than Clint Capela. The odds are against
I guess it's a decent trade for Atlanta. I just feel like it doesn't make them better enough at this point.
Obviously.
Giving up assets is a great idea.
The Hawks just need to develop. DeAndre Hunter, he has great 3-and-D potential. Then you have Reddish, who could become a star in this league because he's so young and already pretty good on defense and shows some offensive potential. He's also gotten better throughout the season. if you've
Right.
watched them more closely.
Yeah. So, but I think, okay, yeah. So
It's
I guess
simple.
this trade is a solid trade for Atlanta. In adding Capela, who's obviously a very valuable piece, it gives them more pieces to surround Trae Young, more depth, more talent, and I guess we'll see how that goes. More honestly, we'll have to watch the Hawks as the rest of the season progresses and see if they improve, as well as watching them towards next year and seeing how much of an impact Capela can make.
Yep.
Moving on to the Timberwolves. They gave up Robert Covington, Jordan Bell, Shabazz Napier, Noah Vonleh, Keita Bates-Diop, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. And they receive Malik Beasley, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, Evan Turner, Jared Vanderbilt, and the Atlanta First. Now, Malik Beasley has value as a 3-and-D guy off the bench. He's a pretty good scorer. He's a good athlete. I like Malik Beasley. I think he's a solid player. Juancho Hernan-Gomez, he's okay. Evan Turner, he's also okay, but they're both mostly just contracts to fill the gaps in the trade. And then Jared Vanderbilt, I mean,
He has a little bit of potential.
he has a little bit of potential, but like none of these guys are going to turn things around.
None of these
Timberwolves.
guys are D-Los.
Not at all.
No,
Like,
not
and
even
the
close.
The real thing here is that they got that Brooklyn pick. Atlanta's through Atlanta was getting that Brooklyn first round pick. For them, they have to get D'Angelo Russell at this point because they have now traded. They have no point guards on their roster.
They need D'Angelo
They traded
Russell.
Napier.
They need.
Well, they have to trade.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've
Someone
done
of
this
equal
move
value.
clearly because they're going all in on D'Angelo Russell. As we know, they've been chasing Russell for months. They wanted him this summer. They've been trying to figure out a trade for him in the last couple of weeks. I mean, and Karl Anthony Towns is disgruntled, obviously.
After this trade, yeah.
Especially after this trade,
Yeah.
because they traded his best friend on the team in Robert Covington. They have to get him D'Angelo Russell, who's like one of his best friends, or he's gone this summer.
Well,
Period. He's going to ask for a trade, and
Yeah.
he's going to get traded.
yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
So, I mean, it's
They
pretty simple with
also traded all their point guards. I mean, they only have like theoretical point guards in like Jarrett Culver, who they just drafted this year. Well, technically traded then drafted, and also they traded away, or they also have Evan Turner, who's played some point guard with Portland. So,
I mean, let's be blunt here. The Timberwolves are terrible. The Timberwolves probably got worse due to this trade.
no, they definitely got worse.
If they don't get
They gave up Keita Bates-Diop,
exactly,
dude.
if they don't get D'Angelo Russell back before the trade deadline, Karl Anthony Towns is gone.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much that simple. They have to be able to turn those extra assets that they got, plus their own assets that they were already able to offer Golden State, and they have to get D'Angelo Russell. If they don't, then it's full-scale rebuild again.
Now the question is, like, do you think that they're in a better position to make a trade for him?
Yes, they are in a better position to make a trade for him in that they did add a first-round pick. They added Malik Beasley, who has some value. Evan Turner's contract to match money if they need to. So yes, they definitely put themselves in a better position with more assets that they can trade for D'Angelo Russell.
But yeah,
By trading all your point guard. I mean, it's a mess, and it's going to be interesting to see how Minnesota shakes out.
this is only a good trade if they get D'Angelo. Like,
if they don't get D'Angelo, this is really bad for them.
I just can't believe they gave up Keita and Shabazz, who have both been very
And Robert
underrated for
Covington.
both of them.
Don't forget about the best 3-and-D guy, arguably, in the entire league.
Well, best value.
That's what I mean, yeah. But moving on to Denver, they were kind of the fourth team in this trade. We knew yesterday, early in the day, and honestly the day before even, that Houston wanted Robert Covington, Atlanta wanted Clint Capela, and Minnesota wanted assets to trade for D'Angelo Russell. But they needed a fourth team to make contracts work and stuff work. So Denver, late last night, became that fourth team, and they gave up Malik Beasley, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, Jared Vanderbilt. Yeah, that's all they gave up was Malik Beasley, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, and Jared.
Basically nothing.
For Shabazz Napier,
Yeah.
Noah Vonleh, Gerald Green, who they will waive, Keita Bates-Diop, who has potential to become a great 3-and-D wing in the likes of like a Maxi Kleber type of guy, and slightly smaller, slightly more athletic Maxi Kleber type of player, and a first-round pick.
Keita Bates-Diop.
Wow.
Yeah. Keita Bates-Diop also gives him like a security net in case Jeremy Grant declines his player option, which he has this summer. So getting Keita Bates-Diop just in case Jeremy Grant, demands too much money is a great option, since he's only making, let me double check, but this year he's only making 1.4, and I believe he has 3 years left on his deal, so it's an insane value for that guy. And then you also have Shabazz Napier, who he's actually been pretty solid with the Timberwolves. I do not understand why they gave him up, because they now don't have a point guard, but Shabazz Napier can provide some quality point guard 3 minutes, since they already have Monte Morris and Jamal Murray. And Joe Green's obviously going to be waived. Noah Vonleh, the guy has been a bust, but he has shown some flashes at times, especially when he was with the Knicks. He has shown flashes, sometimes he can shoot, sometimes he can rebound, be a monster, but usually not. And that Houston 2020 pick could be interesting if they're trying to make another deal, especially for like Drew Holiday or some other player.
They could package that along with Gary Harris and a couple other assets for Drew Holiday, definitely.
Yeah, so
a guy like that.
Even though Denver seems like a throw-in team just to offload contracts, they actually did really well with this trade.
Well, they're a throw-in team that basically turned a bunch of mediocre role players and contracts into more mediocre role players and contracts and a first-round pick. Good for them, is what I gotta say. Good for them. So yeah, I think in conclusion, in total, this is a great trade for Denver, no doubt about it. Awesome trade for Denver. Minnesota, horrendous unless they get D'Lo, in which case we honestly don't really know. It'll depend on how D'Lo and Cat play together. Atlanta, getting Capela is a good move for them, but the question becomes, does it make them competitive? And the answer is probably no this year, but it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out over the next couple of years. And then Houston getting Robert Covington gives them really good wing defense. They're going to be great on the wings, and it fills holes, but it also, losing all that center depth is, they're in big trouble if they don't get another center. So
hopefully there's another trade.
Hopefully we got several more, because trade deadline's tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank y'all guys for listening. Make sure to leave this a like, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below letting us know what you think, and we will be back at you next week with another episode of the regularly scheduled podcast.
All right, see you guys later.